You've joined us live on Moneycontrol. I'm Manisha Gupta, and as we approach the month of June, whether it's about markets, economists, agriculturists, farmers, almost everybody starts to look at the monsoon as a prediction, and we've been doing that for some time now as we approach the onset date, which is put out by the IMD as 4th of June with an error margin of around 4 days less or plus or minus there. But the important is in the details really, and which IMD came out with today. So what they're saying is that the month of June, the onset might be on 4th of June, but the month of June is not going to see a thumping onset of monsoon. The month of June is expected to be below normal rains at the best. Well, you could be looking at better rains in South Peninsula, Western Rajasthan or Ladakh, but these are not the major producing states or major producing areas when it comes to Kharif crop. So that is where the concern really lies. For the month of June, the IMD has said that it is going to be a lesser than 92% of an LPA kind of a rainfall. So that's a below normal number to start with. And then there are various international agencies telling us that start July and you will see more El Nino impact coming in for the Pacific Ocean, which doesn't augur so well for the Indian monsoon. Even as the IMD says that this time the El Nino also perhaps is accompanied by a positive Indian Ocean dipole, so it may not impact the monsoon. But remember, these are changing scenarios and we still do not have clarity on this one. The important thing also is on what IMD has said, that it is going to be a deficient rainfall for overall June to September of a monsoon for northwest India. This is where many of this belt is, so starting from north to Gujarat to some parts of Maharashtra as well, perhaps may not be looking at a very strong rainfall. Now this is an area which for last 4 or 5 years also has seen deficient rainfall, and we've seen many crops that are grown in this area see lower quantity, lower quality, yield, and the prices have been on the higher side. So that's a bit of a concern starting there. Above normal rainfall is what we have seen in the month of May, and that hasn't done well as well because of the standing crop. Many of the horticulture crops, apple for example in Himachal Pradesh, have seen the yield decline. So the kind of erratic pre-monsoon season also that we have seen has had an impact on various of these crops. The good thing is that the availability is not a concern right now. Quality may be a concern, but going forward, these 4 months are really quite important. If we do not see a proper rainfall coming in, then you are looking at concerns, whether it's to your GDP, impacting your equity markets, your commodity prices for sure, and various other asset classes also. The other thing to keep an eye on is on the overall monsoon itself. So until now, IMD is sticking to 4th June of an onset, 96% of a long period average, which is just about a normal monsoon there. IMD also talks about excess rainfall in peninsular India. So the southern part of India, the South Peninsula is going to be looking at good monsoon. That is positive for rice as a crop there. So paddy is looking positive there. But other areas, there seem to be some concerns there. The western disturbances that we have seen are expected to cause rains in some parts of northwest and central India for the next few days is what you're looking at. June is not going to be so strong. July has El Nino. So there are some concerns that we are looking at in the next couple of months here. In the meanwhile, we've seen soft commodity prices, the agriculture commodity prices rise a bit. Also, if you've seen in the equity markets, it is the FMCG as a sector which really has risen quite strongly. Some bit of a concern or a support or higher prices really seems to be coming in from the agriculture onto that one. Normal monsoon is positive, and the fact that you could be looking at some concerns is something that the street really seems to be avoiding onto that one right now. I'll talk a bit more about El Nino here because there are conditions of El Nino becoming favorable over Pacific Ocean, and that is expected to continue until 2024. So we are looking at whole of this year going into that. So you can be ready for an erratic monsoon and then the winter period as well until the end of this year coming in with that one. So not just Kharif, but the sowing of Rabi could also be getting impacted because of that. The other thing to watch out here is that when you look at the irrigated area, much of that really belongs into the north. So there are no concerns on monsoons there. Even right now, you have an alert of heavy monsoon there. The lower irrigated areas clearly are in the northwest, and that seems to be a bit of a problem right now. And that is where you need to keep an eye on. At this point in time, it seems well. And as I said, is the reason you have FMCG stocks reacting quite strongly on that. But with the El Nino, with the Indian Ocean dipole, the onset of monsoon, and how do we look at distribution, special distribution onsets of monsoon is really going to be a week on a fortnightly discussion going forward. In an El Nino where it's very difficult to understand on where the monsoon is headed, and that could perhaps be a thing of 2023 as well.